A little concern about this guy's wrist injury that he had a couple of days ago. Says he'll have it examined after this tournament, probably should I say, because of course he has a week off before the US Open. But Djokovic has looked very, very fit and just looks to have a little bit more metal about him in the last 10 days or so, having won in Toronto as well. A little bit more steel, perhaps something in the eye, maybe. But that win last week was much needed, Rob, in Toronto.
Remember, Nick, he hadn't won since Miami early on in the season, about 4.5 months prior to the win last weekend. And it was the way in which he played last week that was so good. The way he tapered his game towards the final was the first set against Janko Tipsarevic in the semis was incredible. The ball striking from both guys was jaw-dropping stuff. And once he was able to fend off his fellow countryman in the opening set, he played so well in set number 2. And then the finals against Gasquet, he was razor sharp. All that experience he has at this level came to the fore. He was clinical in disposing of Gasquet. And today he's going to have to step up big time because he's playing against the guy who's beaten him recently. He'll be feeling confident about his game, and who we know is one of the cleanest and biggest ball strikers that we have in our sport. Of course, we're not playing on grass, so I think that's an important note. Certainly, I believe Novak didn't play his best tennis in either of the big grass court tournaments, Olympics and Wimbledon this year. His movement just wasn't the same. For me, that was the glaring weakness in his game, and how often can we say that about Novak?
Yeah, very rarely. As you so rightly say, the man who's been very consistent here over the years as well. Not quite managed to get the W, but 4 semi-finals in 5 years, and there's the gentle giant of the sport, really. I was talking to one of the ATP staff this morning, and they were telling me he's so competitive, Del Potro, whatever he does.
Felix and Laura are going to do the honours. Before they do, just a quick reminder, we've got Hawkeye in operation. Please be quick with challenges, especially between first and second serve. And we are live on television, obviously, so changeovers will be longer. Felix, over to you. Well, you got a blue or silver? Blue.
Well, we've been ranking the tosses this week. That's pretty good.
Your choice. You're going to serve? Okay, have a good game, guys. Can you just do a picture with everybody?
Kept it in the blue circle, which is always important, but needed a bit more elevation, so I'm giving him a 7.5 out of 10. But nice moment for them, isn't it?
Yeah, tournament sponsors actually, you had to go into a lottery, I think, to have that particular honour, if you like, of tossing the coin pre-match. It's happened all week. Nice little addition. First semi-final really is a cracker on paper. Looking to get to the final once more. He was in the final last year, remember, just ran out of gas against Andy Murray. That shoulder injury forcing him to retire. There's the route through. Djokovic, really, to be honest, has probably only peaked at about 75% so far this week. That's all he's needed to do. Del Potro, you can see with that win over the lucky loser, Jeremy Chardy. What a week it was for Chardy, who, remember, lost in the last round of qualifying to Fabio Fognini, but then beat Andy Murray this week along the way. If you're wondering where Murray's gone, well, he went in the last 16. Well, it looks as though he was going out a couple of rounds ago when he seemed to have that wrist problem, but bounced back nicely and seemed to be, well, he's such a difficult man to read, isn't he, Rob? We were discussing this the other day, because he just doesn't really give much away.
No, he doesn't. But just 23 years of age now, 11 singles titles to his career. In 2012, he's played well, 48 wins. There's not too many other players on tour that have that many wins, and of course, it equals the same number of wins that he had throughout the whole of 2011. So things progressing very nicely for him. Currently ranked 9, and he lost it pretty early last year in the second round, in fact, to Federer. Remember, he wasn't seeded, coming back from all his injuries. So he's going to add a lot of points to his ranking, and perhaps that'll see him leapfrog a couple of guys in front of him. We'll have to do the numbers as soon as this match is done. Of course, a lot of experience, well over 50 wins now at Masters 1000 level. Just the one final, of course, for Juan Martin. That came in Montreal way back in 2009. And for my money, he plays his best tennis on a hard court, and played very well in the opening match against Tommy Haas. But wasn't the case against Viktor Troicki. How he won that first set, only the good Lord knows. But that's when he had the problems with the left wrist. And against Jeremy Chardy, he was just way too solid.
Well, two major goals that this year that he set himself, Djokovic, the French Open and the Olympic Games. Sadly for him, just came up short. Maybe now he's just regrouped.
Yeah, especially now that they're behind him. Sometimes you put so much emphasis on those particular events, Nick, that you forget to concentrate on what else is happening. And of course, I think sometimes we're quick to forget that, you know, come the French Open, he was on the brink of doing something that hadn't been done for a long, long time, holding all 4 majors at the same time. Of course, it didn't materialize. As I mentioned earlier, hadn't won a title since Miami, but bounced back beautifully, currently ranked number 2 in the world. And is closing in on Federer as far as that number 1 spot is concerned. Of course, 12 titles, as you can see there, second line at Masters 1000 level, now puts himself alone on the all-time list of Masters 1000 titles. Of course, it's Nadal, Federer and Andre Agassi that hold those top 3 positions, and then he surpassed Pete Sampras with his win last week.
Yeah, the run so far, to be fair, he's probably only been in 3rd gear. I mean, well, just as he said, needed to make a few more balls against Seppi, with all due respect to the Italian. Davydenko only lasted 29 minutes before a shoulder injury cut his run short, and then just a little bit better all round, really, against Maren Cilic. 3-2, and a warm round of applause for the Serbinator. Wherever you go in the world, you will find a group of Serbian fans.
Yeah, extremely patriotic is Novak, and whilst he would have been disappointed that he wasn't able to get a medal for Serbia at the Olympics, I think for me, because Serbia is such a small country and because he's such a prominent figure within the country, Nick, for me, he's playing for Serbia all the time, more so than, say, what other guys play for their countries, say, like some of the Americans. You know, I just get that feeling. What about you?
Well, he's an icon. He's more than a sporting icon. He transcends sport in Serbia. There's no doubt about that. And of course, we've talked numerous times about why he moved to Monte Carlo. And yes, all right, there were a whole bunch of financial reasons, but he moved there as well to get a bit of breathing space, Rob, because as he said himself, he felt a little suffocated, understandably. So the head-to-head, we just saw that, and the last time they played that bronze medal match. And there's a Brit in the chair, Team GB. Got a good run of the Olympics, and they've got a Brit doing the business here. His football team didn't play today, though. Premier League starting again. Spurs, as we all know, a big Spurs fan, but they're in action. Monday, I think Spurs are playing, actually. So he'll be glued to that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match will be the best of 3 tie-break sets.
At the start of it, winning the first 4 matches.
Won the toss and elected to serve.
Lost the last 2, but the early matches, the US Open and in China, were both on a hard court. The other hard court result was Davis Cup, and he had to retire injured, so you can put a little bit of an asterisk next to that one. But Dusan Vemic is helping him out this week. Marian Vida will be back next week in New York. He's also been giving Viktor Troicki a couple of tips this week, and it was good to see Viktor playing a little bit better as well. So maybe he's going to be double dipping this week as Dusan, which is always nice. You want to be a multi-income earner. I'm still trying to get onto that one. The weather's been very nice this week. Players have been blessed with almost perfect weather for tennis. Not too hot, not too humid, just spot on.
First semi-final at the Western and Southern Open here. We're in Mason, Ohio, about half an hour's drive north of downtown Cincinnati. And as I said, it's a big sporting city here, but you can forget the Reds and the Bengals today, because it's all about the yellow balls. Someday in prospect here. Nick Lester alongside Robbie Koenig for the first semi-final. Let's hope it lives up to the billing.
First set, Novak Djokovic to serve. Ready, play.
Very good behind service with Robert.
Well, not only this week,
love.
Nick. When you take Toronto into consideration, he's saved 29 of the 30 break points that he's faced. That's astounding. And of course, it's a 97% success rate of 7 break points. That's what it takes to be one of the best players in the world. And I was speaking to Greg Sharko earlier, who's the stats guru at the ATP. And he was telling me he posted similar sort of numbers at the beginning of the year, up to and including Miami, where he was saving a whole host of break points.
Oh. 30-15. All.
When we talk about that stat in particular, Nick, to think that 2 years ago, biggest problems he had in his game was on serve. It just shows you the resilience of this guy and the mental fortitude that he possesses. Bounces back to have one of the greatest seasons ever in the modern era in 2011.
Game, Djokovic.
Super defense on the serve.
First game.
See a number of open stance backhands throughout the course of this one. Of that you can be absolutely sure, as he tries to absorb the firepower coming from Del Potro. That'll be a nice battle within the overall war. His defensive skills versus Del Potro's firepower.
Was coming in here last year, he'd only lost 1 match. Djokovic coming into this tournament last year. This year, he's only lost 2 on hard courts. He lost twice this year on hard, of course, to John Isner in Indian Wells, and I think the other one was to Andy Murray in Dubai.
Juan Martín Del Potro to serve. Love 15. Love 30.
So some early pressure on Argentine's first service game here. describe winning that bronze medal as
15-13.
one of the greatest days of his life as well, and that after, as he said, one of the most disappointing days he's ever had professionally, after losing to Federer in that epic marathon match on centre court, able to bounce back. And in fact, it was Argentina's first medal of London 2012. They ended up winning 4.
Let's first service.
Well, that looked some way off, clip in the net, but Jerry Armstrong's got no choice because it's triggered. It's a sensor on top of the net that triggers the net cord.
Yeah, they can control the sensitivity of it as well.
30 all.
Important that he serves well today so that he can play off the front foot. Here's Franco de Veen. Never has a big entourage. Keeps it nice and tight, him and his coach and fitness trainer. That's pretty much it for Delpo. Other players, of course, like Andy Murray, but 5 or 6 people that travel with him on a regular basis. What about you? What would you be like? Would you like a small little group, coach and physio, or would you like more of your family, more of a social kitten? What are you?
I think I'd be a smaller group guy.
Okay.
I think I'd have too many people around me. Ascent should go the other way.
What's it?
Ascent should go the other way.
Where Djokovic is so effective against Potro. When he does take the ball early, he can rush him on his backhand side. Whilst he moves well for a big guy, his movement isn't as good as, say, a Nadal, a Federer, or a Djokovic. Server will be good at exploiting that. So good at changing direction on his shots, keeping you off balance.
Advantage Del Potro. Game Del Potro.
Just a little bit too long from Djokovic. Trying to go after the ball.
1 game all.
Doesn't do anything at a pace, this man. Takes his own time.
Received
bad news this week. He's been cut from Expendables 2, Djokovic. Cut him out completely. It's a part of the filming, but was told a couple of weeks ago, we're not going to need you anymore in the film. So the movie debut's on hold.
That's good volley. Love the way he just held his position at the net there and forced Novak to go cross court. And of course, when the ball goes across your body, it's slightly easier to cut it off because you're on the angle. There you go. And of course, when you're 6'6", kind of helps. And that is a great volley. It's a rafter-like.
15-13.
He's talked a lot about how he's been trying to be more aggressive off the first ball, and you can see there he's lost control of it. Big errors.
15,
he's got to
14.
face break points again. But of course, this is over the course of the last 2 weeks. He has been outstanding at fighting off break points. As I said to you, he's saved 29 out of 30. Just Tommy Haas was the only guy able to break the serve in the last 12 days or so. Let's see if Potro can join him. Just an oil painting of a backhand. It is such a smooth stroke.
30-14.
You can't tell. He's going to change direction on it. He's got half the line there as well. How clutch is that? It's 30 of 31 break points saved now.
Potro having a little wander across. He's in by 9 millimeters.
Deuce.
Potro loves that forehand on the run, eats the strides up, but Djokovic equally giving away too much ground.
Advantage Del Potro. Ambitious.
missed by a long way though. You'd expect him to at least make it a little close to the line, and you can see as the rallies get drawn out, Novak is definitely the better player. That's the one he was looking for, Nick. Had a little bit more time then. Wasn't called as wide.
Advantage, Del Potro.
The return doing a lot of damage. Look at this. Djokovic not able to penetrate with his first shot. Just sitting up, nice height.
Both these guys hit the ball so deep. And of course, they're deadly accurate. That's what makes it so tough to play against them.
Rally of the match by a mile. And Djokovic outlasts the Argentine.
Jeez.
And I don't like the way he's holding his left wrist there. Look at that. He's not happy. And of course, remember, he had wrist problems against Troitsky a little earlier on in the week, and there was some concern about it. And that backhand was well tested in that 30-shot rally. He is, again, just shaking it out.
Saw him for a good set and a half. Pretty much hit on his slice backhand
Djokovic
against Viktor Troitsky 3 or 4 days ago. That may have got the job done against one serve, but I think against this particular serve, it's unlikely.
Striking. Boys have come to play. Jaw-dropping stuff. I mean, Novak, he's almost touching the back fence. He's so deep in the court, retrieving, putting balls back in play. This time, the Potro is not going to let him off the hook. Dictating proceedings on that occasion, Delpo, and as a result, not having to cover as much court as his opponent, who's done a whole lot more, almost twice as much.
Let's first service. Advantage, Djokovic.
Remains unbroken here in Cincinnati. In 2012, Djokovic saves the break points.
Djokovic leads 2 games to 1.
To remain in front.
It's the ultimate souvenir. The odds are not on your side. You got a better chance of winning the lottery, striking oil in your backyard, or finding buried treasure. But on baseball's biggest stage, there's no greater reward than proving you're part of the team. Red Sox, Yankees, Monday on ESPN.
The ATP World Tour Masters 1000 rolls on into Cincinnati for the Western and Southern Open. The sizzling summer action continues, featuring an all-star field of the best in men's tennis. The march to the U.S. Open later this month is one step closer. The Western and Southern Open, the final, live later tonight on ESPN. The home of the ATP World Tour Masters 1000.
Oh, there we are, look.
As Robbie was saying, a man who represents his country in fine style. There's the Kings Island amusement park in the distance, just 5 minutes or so from here. Yet to venture over there myself. I think I'll give that one a pass this year. Djokovic was there the other day. A few players have enjoyed the thrills and the spills. I think I'll stick to the crazy golf. It's about as exciting as it gets for me.
Thank you. Seats behind the players, please. Thanks.
Two-one. First set.
Love 15.
Again, just shakes the wrist out.
Love 13.
So important to be able to hit a lot of spin when you play against a guy like Potro. Just there's no vector there. Take him off the court. So difficult to go through him because he absorbs your pace so well and sends it back with interest. Got to use the angles. Running out of patience.
Love 40.
So 3 chances for wild number 2 here to move a break ahead.
$15.40.
I guess my first trivia question for the day is it's not a definitive answer. That's what I like about it, because you guys have been a little too sharp this week. I'd like to know how many people do you think this stadium holds? And of course the closest number gets a retweet.
30-40.
No overrule from Jerry Armstrong on that ball that was close to the line. Ooh, it was out. Difficult to overrule when it's that close. You've got to go with your linesman's call. You can, just getting back to that question, let us know at our Twitter accounts, at Rob Koenig Tennis.
Or at Nick Lester.
What is the capacity of the centre court?
Neither man able to take their opportunities so far. It's been a good groove on the serve so far, Del Potro. Sorry, Rob.
I was just about to say the minimum capacity you need is 10,000 at these Masters 1,000 events. So that's just some sort of a clue.
Telling me this morning that ticket sales have flown this week, largely due to the walk-up tickets. About 40% of the tickets that are sold this week have been people just turning up. Apparently that's a big thing in the Midwest here. Sports fans tend to just...
Last-minute decision.
Yeah. Look at the weather.
Great day. Yeah, see who's on the schedule. Let's head out there.
And they were saying a large chunk of the fans have just been turning up on the day to come and get a ticket.
Had great attendance all week.
Game Del Potro.
Well, from love 40, that's a fine hole for the fairly passive.
2 games all.
On the outside, at least, Argentine.
I think we're going to have to start calling that he's doing a Djokovic when guys start to save that many break points.
It's break points saved on the year so far. If you look at the across the board, Djokovic currently 9th, Del Potro 10th. That's on all surfaces.
Oh, what a laser-like forehand that was. Beautiful thing about that
Love 15.
is that he was almost at full stretch. Talk about power at reach. He's got plenty of it.
When
you break that stat down per surface, get back to that in a second, you can see how hard these guys are having to work behind their deals. Almost 5 minutes for Del Potro, 6.5 for Novak. I was just going to say, Nick, on a hard court, Raonic is top dog as far as break points are saved. I think, though, with the 4 he's already saved in the match thus far, Novak will overtake him now. He's saved 101 break points out of 134. That'll take him to around 76% success rate. That's astonishing.
40-15.
Service game, a little easier.
Slice backhands that didn't really cut the mustard in that last rally, and Djokovic allowed to get on the front foot.
Djokovic leads 3 games to 2.
Djokovic moves ahead.
The battle for poker's ultimate prize is here. The game's hottest players are all in for a jackpot worth over $8.5 million and some bling.
The only way you're going to beat me is if you get lucky.
We play 16 hours straight to get to the final table.
From Las Vegas, the 2012 World Series of Poker main event, tonight on ESPN.
Falcao goes himself, and what a goal! Oh, lovely turn, what a goal again! What a striker! Diego, that's it! Atletico Madrid are the 2012 Europa League champions.
The journey for glory continues, Friday on ESPN.
Not quite, not at the moment. Maybe her number one, but I never know. Come Monday. It's a fine tournament, this. They've done such a good job over the years, as Robbie was saying. It's expanded. The grounds have expanded some 40% in the last few years. That's what happens when you put your money where your mouth is. Money's been put behind this tournament in so many regards. As we were saying, a record attendance yesterday at both sessions. Sold out last night. Federer under the lights, as you would expect it to be when he's playing an American, but 20,000+ packed in here yesterday.
Love.
Guided the ball, used the pace that was coming towards him.
15 all.
How well he hits that forehand on the run. He gets such good angle.
Thirty 15. All.
Got up to that one. It's laboured rather, moving to his right.
Oh, I asked you what the capacity was here a little earlier on, and it took a while for some of you to get back to me. I think you've gone to Google it in the tournament's history. And of course, it's 11,435 was the number I was looking for.
Game Djokovic.
Oh, he gives the break, and I think he's going to ask for the trainer here.
Djokovic leads 4 games to 2.
Certainly had a word in the direction of Jerry Armstrong.
Let's keep an eye on that. Shaking out that left wrist, Nick.
15 love.
Let's have a look at that. After this miss-hit reaction. There it is again.
Mr. Del Potro challenging the call on the left far sideline. All scored out. Cross nets. 13.
It was the other wrist.
Mr. Del Potro has 2 challenges.
Right wrist he had surgery on a couple of years ago.
Good depth there. Of course, the first person to get back to us regarding the stadium capacity, it was correct. Azan Paperno. Good job. Spot on. At the very start of the broadcast, I did mention what the capacity was, so perhaps he was listening in.
Let's first service.
Footwork mixed up there.
30 all.
Let's make a big stride at the end of it rather than a couple of short steps. Doesn't happen too often for Novak.
Game Djokovic.
Djokovic drops salt into the wounds of what looks like a
Ball change, please. New
The
ball.
injury for one Martin Del Potro. Keep an eye on it.
Djokovic leads 5 games to 2.
It's the Serb who leads.
The ATP World Tour Masters 1000 rolls on into Cincinnati for the Western and Southern Open. The sizzling summer action continues, featuring an all-star field of the best in men's tennis. The march to the U.S. Open later this month is one step closer. The Western and Southern Open, the final, live later tonight on ESPN, the home of the ATP World Tour Masters 1000.
The hard-hitting action of American football returns to ESPN with preseason action. Michael Vick and the high-flying Eagles head north to New England to take on the amazing Tom Brady and the New England Patriots as they begin the road back to the Super Bowl. Are you ready for some Monday Night Football? Eagles, Patriots, live Tuesday on ESPN, the home of the NFL.
So as we expected, a trainer has been called to further investigate.
It's the same trainer who saw him last time. So we had a retirement already earlier on in the week here on center court with Davydenko.
Trouble for Del Potro, an injury of sorts, and down in the scoreline as well. 5-2 he trails on this first set.
Love. Oh! 15 all. Thirty 15.
just been put off his stride here.
30 all.
Djokovic closing in on this opening set.
.30.
That's a little more like it. A couple of cannons coming from a racket of former US Open champion.
Djokovic leads 5 games to 3.
To keep him in the hunt. Do you have occasions in your career, Rob, where you played through an injury on court, got better as time went on?
I think there's so many players who play with little niggles out there, Nick.
15 love.
Martin doesn't strike me as the kind of individual who would want to play through the pain. I think he's also wary of what's happened to him in the past as well, especially having the right wrist problems previously. It was the other wrist, of course. That's definitely worth the second look, I would say.
Mr. Del Potro challenging the ball on the right baseline. Ball was called out.
It was fast, and half volley is never easy to call. Well long.
So after 47 minutes of the first semi-final here from Cincinnati, it's the man who's yet to win this title who has a set point. Neither man particularly
Mr. Del Potro challenging the call on
Potro is going to see this one again.
Ball's called out.
Djokovic is having a conversation with Del Potro. I just wonder, that's good.
Got one right, is what he's saying. Let's do it over.
First set.
Set point again. There it is. Novak Djokovic is right now looking very good for a spot in tomorrow's final. He's taken the first set.
Boys, what was wrong with this one?
It's the ultimate souvenir. The odds are not on your side. You got a better chance of winning the lottery, striking oil in your backyard, or finding buried treasure. But on baseball's biggest stage, there's no greater reward than proving you're part of the team. Red Sox, Yankees, Monday on ESPN.
Only a few more steps. These are the UEFA Champions League playoffs. This Wednesday, live on ESPN.
Instead of researching a running back's turf toe injury on podiatry sites, start a fantasy football league on ESPN.com and get exclusive analysis from a real injury expert, Stefania Bell. Start a league today at ESPN.com/fantasyfootball.
Sun's out here in Ohio, the tri-state. This one. Next stop, New York, for pretty much all these guys. Of course, there is an event next week on the ATP World Tour in Winston-Salem. Good field they got down there as well. Part of that.
Second set, Del Potro to serve.
Of course. Big part of things this summer. Either interrupted the Open Series, the US Open Series here.
$15 love.
Urgency.
Came bounding in there, didn't he?
30 love.
Big strides, only 3 or 4, and he was right on top of the net.
Nice stadium, this one. Pretty much the ideal size for me, Nick. 11,420 odd seats. It's pretty intimate. You can get nice and close to the players.
Game, Del Potro. First game, second set.
I've seen some quotes in the press last week about the personal problems that are surrounding Djokovic, and he had said himself last week that there are a couple of issues behind the scenes that he's dealing with. Well, a lot's been given away. The quotes were originally from Jelena Gencic, his former coach. $15 love.
Of course, Marion Viner hasn't been here the last 2 weeks. We don't know if there's anything to read into that.
Djokovic.
Let fly with that one.
1 game on.
How do you compare Del Potro now, Rob, to when he won the US Open? Is he at the same level? Is he a little below? Is he at a higher level, maybe?
I don't like the way he keeps putting himself down, and he keeps saying, well, I'm still trying to get back to where I was, and still looking to find the same kind of form I had back then, you know.
Do you think it's almost an unnecessary sort of marker? It's a marker, obviously, that's always going to be there. So.
For me, it's just telling your opponents that you don't have as much self-belief in yourself. You don't have self-belief. I think he's pretty close as far as ball striking is concerned. If you are having self-doubts, don't let anybody know about that.
Very much. I'll just run the other way and I'll put it behind you.
15 on.
Spoke about this a little earlier, the way he uses these angles to outmaneuver Del Potro. It's not pace there that beats him, it's spin. That was Nadal-like in its execution. Dominating from the back of the court now is Novak.
Difficult one, because pretty much every single tournament he goes to, at least one press conference, somebody will ask, is your form as good as it was at the US Open? So, you know, for him, he's almost tripping on to take that question away almost, you know, by winning one of these maybe, they might just leave that to one side.
With reiterating, he's never won a Masters 1000, so it's not like he was winning a whole lot of them before he won the US Open.
30 all.
Should have been in the finals of Madrid earlier this year, though. It was all over Thomas Berdych in the opening set of that semi-final. Was playing great tennis. Just one lapse of concentration on serve.
First service.
That opened the door for Berdych. Crushing the ball.
possession again. Not an easy shot to hit that because the ball's actually pretty central as
30,
well.
40.
Gets into position so quickly and prepares so well.
Well, this year he's 45-0 after he wins the first set. Novak Djokovic in 2012. A chance to go a set and a break here. Could be curtains. And long it goes. So may the chances of Juan Martín del Potro in this first semi-final, because the Serbian very much in command.
The ATP World Tour Masters 1000 rolls on into Cincinnati for the Western and Southern Open. The sizzling summer action continues, featuring an all-star field of the best in men's tennis. The march to the U.S. Open later this month is one step closer. The Western and Southern Open, the final, live later tonight on ESPN, the home of the ATP World Tour Masters 1000.
The hard-hitting action of American football returns to ESPN with preseason action. Michael Vick and the high-flying Eagles head north to New England to take on the amazing Tom Brady and the New England Patriots as they begin the road back to the Super Bowl. Are you ready for some Monday Night Football? Eagles, Patriots, live Tuesday on ESPN, the home of the NFL.
Gotta applaud the efforts of the fans.
Time.
Definitely deserve to get on TV when you go to all that effort.
Djokovic, remember, hasn't been broken the whole tournament. This is a very big challenge for Del Potro right now.
$15 love. $30 love.
There we go.
$13.15.
Potro was alive to the cross-court forehand a little more there and actually stepped in and just cut the angle off a little more than we've seen him do.
Moved through that ball beautifully as he made contact with it. Something that Stefan Edberg used to do so well. Just get you that extra meter close to the net if you are coming in behind it.
40-30.
To miss the easiest shot, and that's what we can't believe it. Look at the resilience and the steely determination of this guy. He used to give him nothing for free.
And he's down for the count. Here's one Martin.
Djokovic leads 3 games to 1.
Losing rally. He was pulled from one side to the other. We saw it. Look, he was on his way, and he was there comfortably. Was slowed down. It's like, how much longer have I got to be out here?
It's his attitude that makes him so good.
That's a good phrase of yours. Your attitude determines your altitude. Like that one. Need a bit of luck along the way as well.
15 love.
And if you put yourself in the position more often than not, when Lady Luck does come past your door, you're there to receive it. Make the most of it.
15 all.
Of course, as far as Novak is concerned, you might go back to very early on in his career when the 3 hard courts were built right across the road from where his mom and dad had their pizzeria. He was still a very young kid. Right place, right time. Facility was one of the best around in the area, and he happened to be right next door to it, pretty much.
Yeah, I thought Simon Barnes in the Times of London newspaper wrote a very good piece post-Olympics on GB's success, and there's a lovely line from him. He said, "Success is a mix of nature, nurture, and dumb luck." Which I wholeheartedly agree with. Slice. I think it might have caught the lines lady.
40-15.
She's taking it in good spirits. Something had the chance to hold all 4 majors. At present only holds the 1 now. We'll defend that in New York next week. The week after, should I say.
game, Del Potro.
So Del Potro hanging on in there.
Djokovic leads 3 games to 2.
To go through the gears though, the big man. If he can.
The battle for poker's ultimate prize is here. The game's hottest players are all in for a jackpot worth over $8.5 million and some bling.
The only way you're going to beat me is if you get lucky.
We play 16 hours straight to get to the final table.
From Las Vegas, the 2012 World Series of Poker main event, tonight on ESPN.
Falcao goes himself, and what a goal! Oh, lovely turn, what a goal again! What a striker! Diego, that's it! Atletico Madrid are the 2012 Europa League champions.
The journey for glory continues Friday on ESPN.
Novak Djokovic looking to become the first man to do the Canada-Cincy double since Andy Roddick did it in 2003. Time 9 years ago. Roddick going out of this tournament early. A bit of a back injury, concern for him, although he's down in Winston-Salem this week, so clearly not too bad. He's been done it off the double, back to back. Three-two.
Love 15.
Here's an opportunity from Djokovic. There's a little window just opened for Juan Martin. Can he move through it?
Fifteen, 13.
It's so clean and so easy on the eye. That was a much better point from Del Potro.
15,
patient. When he saw his opportunity, grabbed it with both hands.
He's been a master this week. This last 2 weeks of saving break points. 2 more to fend off here.
30-40.
It's 34 of the last 35 break points that he's saved now, going back to Toronto last week. And he's been painting the line on several occasions in order to hang on in there.
Slower ball, just 86 miles an hour. He throws in the kick serve on the first one. Fools the Argentine. Again, just throws out the wrist.
Advantage, Djokovic.
From 30-40 for Del Potro.
Djokovic leads 4-2.
Comes through unscathed again. It's just having total faith in your ability, not letting anything negative creep into your mind. Power of positive thinking and just not doubting yourself.
Love 50.
Novak's is improving, and Delpo's is going on the slide. It's not what you want when you're down, set in a break. I want my investment portfolio to look more like a Djokovic's
Love 30
rather than Del Potro's. You don't want the graph going down, do you? Ever.
Let's first service.
Yes, if you'd have invested in Juan Martín Del Potro at the start of the week, you got a pretty good return for your money.
Love 40.
But not quite as good, it would seem, as for the world number 2. 3 further chances to break and twist the knife a little further in here.
Djokovic.
Game over. Well, that more than likely is game over.
Ball change, please.
Nailing one Martin Del Potro. Novak Djokovic.
Djokovic
It seems about to get his revenge.
It's the ultimate souvenir. The odds are not on your side. You got a better chance of winning the lottery, striking oil in your backyard, or finding buried treasure. But on baseball's biggest stage, there's no greater reward than proving you're part of the team. Red Sox, Yankees, Monday on ESPN.
That game gave people a taste of what can be in this country.
David, we didn't have 60,000 South Africans. We had 43 million South Africans.
What if I told you that a game could unify a country?
Madiba took my hand and he shook it and he said, "Thank you very much for what you've done for South Africa." I said to him, "Madiba, you got it wrong. Thank you for what you've done."
This week, an encore of The 16th Man, part of the 30 for 30 film series on ESPN.
Time. Yeah.
It's our 14-match winning streak on the hard courts. He's about to reach number 15. It was a tight first set. Early struggles, but Djokovic has held firm. Of a concern do the wrist is for Del Potro, Rob?
Difficult from up here. I haven't spoken to Frank at Devin, but he does tend to worry. He's a little bit of a worrier, whereas a guy like Ferrer would probably just, you know, hang in there, or Nadal would hang in there for a lot longer. You just don't know. It's early days as well. We haven't had much feedback.
Of
course, the US Open is a major that he's won. He wants to make sure he goes into that last Grand Slam of the year in showroom condition.
.30-15. All.
Cheeky.
Beautiful the way he created the angle there. And it's
40-30.
It's been another clinical performance. He's been watertight.
Certainly has stepped up when he's needed to do so today, Djokovic. When things have got tight, he has raised the bar. Match point.
Deuce.
Well, he nicked the bronze medal from under his nose a couple of weeks ago, and Djokovic ready for some revenge.
Too many unforced errors for Del Potro, 27 in total.
And the second match point for the Serb.
Game, set, match.
He's got it. The Canada-Cincinnati double hasn't been done for a decade, but it's still on for Novak Djokovic. A little check from one man to the other on his condition, but it's 15 wins in a row on hard courts for Novak Djokovic. A steely performance once more. When under pressure, he raised his game, and it's revenge. An Olympic revenge from a couple of weeks ago. Djokovic, the first man into the final, 3-2.
Good week for Del Potro. He needs to get that wrist seen to make sure there's no danger there, because it's great to see him when he's in fine form, when he's 100% healthy, because he can give the big boys a real run for their money. But today, it just wasn't solid enough. Made a few too many unforced errors. Novak gets it tighter than a taxman's purse. Sure. Multi-million-dollar signature as he signs off on another superb performance on the hard courts here in North America. And when we examine his side of the ledger, we'll see that it's pretty impressive. First serve percentage, you'll sign for that. Points won on first serve, good. Defended the second serve well. Winners to unforced errors ratio, not bad given the player that he was facing on the other side of the court. And net points won, impressive. And Del Potro, I guess, the big number there at the bottom of the screen, 0 for 6 on break points won. Wasn't able to take the opportunities when they presented themselves early on in the opening set. And of course, he paid the price ultimately because of it. A few too many unforced errors thrown in there, and not going to get the job done against one of the best players in the world. Djokovic is through in just under an hour and a half.